So I thought I'd show you this. It looks like a regular can of Barbasol. But wait.
There's more.
When you give it a little twist, you can import embryos for dinosaurs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Make your own dinosaur embryos.
Make your own dinosaur embryos. Yeah. I gotta find the embryos though, because I just have it shipped with just the empty tubes.
Okay.
I thought it was gonna come with actual dinosaur DNA, but
when you saw the price was $7.15, you should have known better.
I should have, but it is really cool. I like it a lot. I totally dig it.
Oh, we're looking at buttermilk. She's like,
I'm not even listening
I can't even
to y'all.
hear you guys.
Yeah. Aren't y'all supposed to be doing a podcast? I think we are, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Out About Podcast. I am Patrick, and you all know my co-host, Chili.
Hey, hey.
And last but not least, we have our producer, Mr. Jerome Barrow.
Hello, everybody.
How are you fine gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Good.
Fabulous.
Fabulous?
Fabulous.
I think my cleaner uses that on the floor.
Yes,
she mops with it.
Yeah.
Fabuloso.
Fabuloso. Yeah.
It could be.
What scent does she use? What color? Probably easier to say.
Oh, it's the purple, right?
Yeah,
I think it's purple. The purple's the best. Yeah. What do you use? Pine Sol?
I'm more of a bleach person.
Ew.
Oh.
He'll tell you, I start cleaning, and he's like, "Oh God, the whole house
I can't
smells
do
like bleach," and he hates it.
I can't do bleach. I understand it has purpose, but it reminds me, honestly, of like middle school and high school and elementary school, the boys' bathroom.
Yeah,
that's what they just cleaned with bleach. Just everything was bleach, and it would you'd walk in there after they got done cleaning it, and your eyes would start to water because there was so much bleach in the air. I'm like, nah. Ever since then, I
love the smell of bleach.
What?
I love it.
What?
I get the eye burn. Yeah,
he gets the Cincy, the Clorox flavored Cincy's for his little Cincy candle.
I was washing some towels from the yard one day, and they're white towels, and they're filthy dirty, and I put bleach in the washing machine, and the washer and dryer are downstairs in the basement, and this was the same day we were interviewing a house sitter. So I'm downstairs in the basement washing towels, and I used way too much bleach. So I go upstairs to meet the potential house sitter, and Melissa's walking her by the basement door, and it reeked of bleach. I'm like, okay, she must think we're behind the body down here.
Don't worry about that. That was the last house sitter.
Just a little spill.
So
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't like sit and inhale it or anything, but just
he's got an open bottle of bleach next to his.
But I do love the smell of bleach. Like, I don't know. Growing up, I just always associated bleach with clean. Like, you smell bleach, it's just clean. It's just.
I get that. I don't mind the smell of diesel at all. And I know there's some people either like it or they don't like it. I don't mind it at all. And so it's funny because we've gone on some of these like trips on like at a cruise ship or on a cruise. You do these excursions. Sometimes you're on a boat. Like you'll get off a cruise ship, they'll put you on a little boat, then you'll go somewhere. And so we've done quite a few of those. And sometimes those boats smell like diesel. Yeah. More often than not, they actually do. And so, everybody's like, oh, I got to get upstairs. I can't handle all this or whatever. And I'm like, it's fine to me. I'll just take all the room and air conditioning for myself. But yeah, I'm like that with diesel.
I'm like that with propane exhaust from forklifts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just something about it. I would do trade shows and forklifts running around left and right as you're setting up. Yeah. And the exhaust note, I just love it.
Huh? No, yeah. I never had that one. But again, a lot of the
I bet you between the three of us, we've probably got like 20 brain cells left. All of this smell and everything.
Wow.
Combined.
So
I remember in high school.
I've got one. Patrick's got 5. So like leaves you with what, 14?
I don't even know if I got that many.
Not with bleach. I'm not. You ever looked at what bleach kills on the inside the bottle? They're like kills pneumonia. It kills brain cells. It kills athlete's foot. It kills Barbasol spray. I mean, it kills everything. It's like 99.9. That 0.1 though, it's a tough 0.1. They're like the boxing gloves came off. Yeah, that's some serious 0.1. But no, I remember in high school, these dumb kids, they would take Sharpie, and they would sniff the Sharpie, and you would know because they'd have all the little
Little
black
black
dots right under their nose on their skin. And it's like, you idiot, we can see that you were sniffing a Sharpie. Things people do to get high.
Yes.
Never heard the bleach one, though. So
I don't do it to get high. I clean.
It's
Sure.
okay, Jerry. It's okay. The first step's admitting it.
So what do y'all have? Like two sets of cleaning products? I'm sorry. No, actually, I guess it's one set of cleaning products and a bottle of bleach.
I'm the type of person, I have one of those big spray bottles, so I pour bleach in it and then I put water. But I'm the type of person, I put like that much bleach and then I fill it up with water.
So you're more of a half and half kind of person, or
Pretty
like a
much.
1/3 to 2/3.
Yeah, about that.
Well, you don't want to water the bleach down too much.
I mean, and it makes
Because what would Clorox know when they put those instructions on the side of the bottle? They have no clue.
have no idea.
In my eyes, it just makes cleaning so much easier. Like, I literally can go in my shower, I could spray the entire thing down, walk away, I could come back in 5
You've
minutes.
got one
and
layer of
it's-
tile missing.
It's absolutely pristine. It's all the soap scum's gone. Like, it's wonderful. I just spray it down with water
Right,
and I
and
walk
you're
away.
good.
Meanwhile, Don doesn't shower in there for 2 or 3
Exactly.
days until all the bleach is gone.
He has his own bathroom.
Okay.
He doesn't even
Smells
go in
like
my bathroom.
lilacs in that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
that's hysterical. Oh my
I
gosh.
I don't use cleaning products. I use buttermilk.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
I don't know what the cleaning people actually use. I think it is Fabuloso for the floors and such, but for like just regular disinfectants and all that, I have no idea what they use.
Lemon pledge.
Lemon Pledge. I do like me some.
Doesn't disinfect, but it gives a
Makes
nice
it look
lemon
nice.
scent.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine growing up, her mom taught her, and the first time I seen her wash dishes, I thought she was crazy. But she would always wash dishes and pour Lysol in the dishwater.
No.
So she used Dawn dish soap, and then they also used about that much Lysol that they poured in.
That's a marketing scheme. She fell for something.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of marketing craziness, like your friend, I was just watching. So I had to go to Fort Wayne and pick up the Volvo, and so I spent the night in a hotel. And I was watching. What was that movie?
Roadhouse.
No, close. Very similar. It was Jumanji, the new Jumanji,
Oh, Jumanji. Which one? Like
the new one
the newest.
with The Rock
Well, there's been two of those, I think.
and Kevin Hart. Has there been two
I think
new
there's been
ones?
two of those.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but I know the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart.
yeah, the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart and
The other guy.
yeah, the other guy and the girl.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they were in Jumanji. Yes, so I was watching that, and I don't have TV at the house, as you all know. I don't have cable or satellite or network TV here, so I don't watch commercials ever. I never see them. So they actually had commercials on, and holy cow, Cascade dishwasher detergent has lost their mind.
Really?
They got a guy on TV telling people, I used to be the kind of person to load my dishwasher, and then, when it was full at night, I'd run it and clean my dishes. But now, I'll do my dishwasher even if there's only 3 dishes in there. I don't care. I'll dish it all the time because, it's still 80% less water usage than hand washing and all this stuff, and it's so
Wow.
much better for the economy and everything. And so he's like, next time you're thinking about running the dishwasher, just run it. And I'm like, boy, Cascade, could you be any more direct in use our product more
All the time, please.
all the time?
Yeah.
You drank a cup of coffee, run that dishwasher.
Dishwasher, clean that cup.
Was it an espresso glass?
Yeah.
2 ounces? Run it.
Run it.
You had a shot of cough syrup? You run that dishwasher.
I got to tell you, I've fallen for some of the Cascade marketing.
Really?
Yeah, they have the pods,
Yes.
and different pods have different colors.
Yes.
Some have 2 colors. Some have 5. I don't know what
5?
colors.
Never
I
seen a
don't
5
know, 4.
one. That's coming, though.
Whatever
It's
it
like
is.
razor blades.
I only want the one with multiple colors.
You got
I
it.
don't want just the 2. I
Nope.
want all the colors
Nah.
in my pods.
So I do. What is the company? I can't think of their name, but it's a blue disc with a red circle in the middle of it.
Okay, yeah.
Finish. I do Finish,
Yeah.
but I do the Finish Ultra.
Right.
So the blue square is actually like half white, half blue,
Right.
and then it has
Then
the red.
dot, yeah.
There's no difference at all. I'm convinced. It's just color.
Just color.
It's just a little. They add blue to one side, they add white to one side. They put it together, and they charge me $1.50 more
They're prettier.
per box. And I
wanna
buy
put-
it.
I want to put my GoPro in the dishwasher and just see what happens, how the color fades away.
That would be funny,
It would
wouldn't
be
it?
hilarious.
Comes out squeaky clean.
Yep.
I tell you what.
Do you run the dishwasher the way it's supposed to be run?
Oh my goodness! Now we're gonna get lessons on dishwasher.
So I believe in running my dishwasher with a leash. So we're both running together. I understand some people don't. Some people prefer they run it a different way. But
I run mine on a treadmill.
How do you on a treadmill? Okay, yeah. I just think fresh air. You know, a dishwasher is when they're going to run, they want fresh air.
Sometimes, but treadmill, I can sit down and watch TV and I'm good.
I would love to know what is the proper way to run a dishwasher.
So I'm assuming.
Oh, you use water. Oh,
when you load up your dishwasher.
Yes.
I'm assuming you load it up. You take one of your little pod things, you pop it in there, you shut it up, you close it, you put it on whatever cycle you want, and you're done.
Yes.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
That's incorrect.
But yes, producer, go ahead. Why is that incorrect?
Because we watched a complete 1 hour show one time.
Sponsored by
on History Channel.
Cascade.
Yeah,
Cascade or Finish.
They actually talked about to get your dishes clean the way they're supposed to. Every dishwasher has a pre-wash compartment that you are supposed to use. They put it there for a reason. You're supposed to fill it up with liquid detergent.
Oh, yes, I do that.
Put your pot in there.
Okay,
shut it. It runs the pre-wash and uses detergent and all that and breaks all the food up. And then your main wash and pellet or whatever you put in there then cleans everything after that.
Okay, so mine doesn't have that. I'm sorry. I don't have a pre-wash on mine. I've seen that on every other dishwasher I've ever owned. This is the first one I've ever had that doesn't have that at all. It just has one compartment for your little pod.
Right.
It does have the compartment for your finishing. It
doesn't have the little the main compartment, and then it has another one beside it, or
it
below
doesn't. It just has one. I'll show you when we're done.
Okay.
It only has one, but it does have the little thing for like the it's literally finish or jet dry or whatever.
Yes,
it's that little.
yes.
It's the whatever stuff. And this is one of those things where, hashtag all marketing is lying to you. I thought for years owning dishwashers that, that's a joke. You don't have to do that.
Right.
All my dishes always come out perfect, yada, yada, yada. Well, I lived in South Louisiana where we have like the best drinking water in America. We get it straight out of a sand aquifer. They just barely touch it with a little bit of fluoride and a hint of just the mere suggestion of chlorine. He wouldn't like it.
He wouldn't.
Hey, I'm from Florida where everything has sulfur. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, this has nothing. It's beautiful. It's great water. Love the water down there. And so I always thought, what a joke. I moved here where we have hard water. And we have a water softener, and we add all the stuff to it to make the water right, but it screws your dishes up. And so I was so frustrated. I'm like, why do I have cloudy dishes? Why do I have all this stuff? And the two things I've learned is, one, I've got to use that finish, that liquid. If I don't use it, my dishes come out nasty. If I use it, spotless every single time. Second thing is, up here I have to clean my dish. So like in Louisiana, I put the little the dishwasher cleaning stuff in there to actually just run a cycle to clean your dishwasher. It's a degreaser and all that stuff. I would do that once a year, something like that. Even though they say you're supposed to do it every month or two, I do it once a year. Up here, for whatever reason, maybe it's my dishwasher, maybe it's my water. Right. I have to do it pretty much every couple months. Otherwise, it starts to make the dishes look a little oily. So it's kind of crazy. Like I'm learning some of this stuff that I've always accepted as a scam is really not.
We found out about the pre-wash after I watched that show, and actually we could take our dishes, rake the food off, no pre-rinsing, no pre-washing or anything, just put them right into the dishwasher. Every dishwasher we've ever had after we watched that show, use the pre-wash compartment like you're supposed to, fill it up and everything, put it on normal wash, and every time they come out spotless.
Huh.
And so we use the Kirkland brand dishwasher.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we have the pre-wash. We have the jet dry thing. I think I've never used it. We just put the pot in, close it up, and send it through. Cleaning the dishwasher, never heard of that before.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean, maybe Melissa has, or
I think
just hasn't shared with me.
I think from what I've seen Melissa do, she does a better job of rinsing the plates and stuff off before she throws them in the dishwasher.
Generally, though, I'm the one throwing stuff in the dishwasher, and I used to. I mean, it was beat into my head when I was a kid, and it was my week.
You wash the dishes,
wash
then
the
you
dishes, and then put them in the dishwasher. Yeah. And I'll get scrape off the food and stuff and throw it in there, and I'm like, hope this comes out right in the morning, and they come out great.
Yeah.
So I mean, our dishwasher is noisy as all get out. It takes about an hour to do a wash, and it doesn't dry everything, but It's clean.
Well, that's one thing I've noticed about my dishwasher too. What a weird conversation for a trucking show.
Right?
But I did
Stopped being a trucking show 15, 20 episodes ago.
I went and bought when I first moved in, I bought that fancy, expensive KitchenAid dishwasher or deluxe. It is so quiet. You've all not heard it.
Quiet.
You've all not heard it.
We have. Yeah.
It's dead silent. Like I remember the first time I put it on, I'm like, oh crap, it wasn't installed right. Why is it not working? I open it up and everything's full of water, and I'm like, there's no way it is that quiet. It is dead quiet.
It really is.
That being said, it is the worst dishwasher I've ever owned in my life. I guess with dead quiet comes they barely throw any water on,
Right.
because it is like, if you don't load it just so, you won't get your dishes clean. And it's so aggravating. My old dishwasher, so my house in Louisiana, I didn't have a dishwasher. The dishwasher was a bottle of Dawn and
Right.
your two hands and a sponge. But before that, the house before that, the two houses before that, both had just regular, cheapest
Sure.
Sears, Kenmore,
Yeah.
or GE Hotpoint dishwasher you could get. And I mean, you could literally have dishes, plates sandwiched together with stuff between them,
Right.
no space at all, and a pot on top.
Yeah.
And somehow everything would come out
It would
squeaky
get up in
clean.
there, yeah.
This new dishwasher I've got, it's a piece of junk. I mean, it's just. Then what are you gonna? It's nothing. It's dead quiet though. Like you,
Yeah,
it's
you
just
don't hear it.
you don't hear it running,
Yeah.
which is awesome. But I also feel like, I never noticed that until I had a dead quiet one. So who cares? And it is a long wash. Mine is like yours, like an hour, 2 hour wash. But it has that pro heat function. No, that's no joke. Those dishes come out dry.
Well, yeah, it takes an extra hour to dry them, though.
Yes, it does.
It's, I guess you have give and take.
So what I typically do is, it's the last thing I'll do before I go to bed, which I know, like, if my mom was listening, she'd freak out and say that you can't do this, but I run my dishwasher, like, it's the last thing I do before I go to bed is
Right.
start it, go to bed, wake up in the morning,
They're
empty
done.
it out.
I try and get it started before we go to bed because it is loud.
Yeah.
It is loud. So, but it's rhythmic. It's not a nice rhythmic kind of white noise.
It's just a
you can go
pulse to keep you asleep.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I've always done anyway, is start my washer. Usually I start the dishwasher at night. Look at him looking at me because he always, yes, Don mainly does the dishwasher. But I was always told start it at night when you go to bed because electricity's cheaper
Right.
in the night hours.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
That's what we would do.
So in Louisiana, we didn't have that fancy
Electricity.
monitoring.
Right.
So it was the same price
All the time.
all the time. Although now they do have that, but we didn't have it back in the day. So they got that after I moved to Ohio.
Well,
So
I'd like to poll you guys on something dishwasher related so we can stay on topic of trucking here. Silverware. Handle up or handle down?
it depends on the dishwasher, and it depends on what it is. So my dishwasher has that lid over the silverware basket, and you can only put it
handle
down. Now they do have some wider ones, so you can put knives straight down.
Sure.
Because I will put butter knives and steak knives in the dishwasher, but that's all I do. The rest of my knives.
Put your steak knives in the dishwasher.
Per the book that came with it that said your dishwashers are absolutely okay in the dishwasher, I do put my steak knives. And not only that, but I get compliments all the time about how tender the meat is at this house, and it's not tender meat. It's just an amazing knife.
Those knives are
well, I could serve up leather shoes, and they would be like, "Ooh, this cut's so nice."
We won't give them a plug because they don't sponsor us yet, but those knives are amazing.
They are really, really good. By the way, their annual sale is happening right now, so if you want to get something, it's a ton of buy.
I would like some steak knives, but I don't want serrated steak knives. I want smooth blade steak knives. Serrated ones tend to tear. Anyway, Jerry, what do you do? Handles up, handles down?
Every dishwasher we've ever had, it's been both, because if they're all one way, they never come clean. So we have to mix match.
Not only that, but you can't put spoons together in the same one.
Right, I'm having a problem with that right now because I was always taught handles up. Because
really?
When you reach in to clean dishes, you're picking up with the handle.
With your clean hands.
I was always taught handles up.
Okay.
So, but I've learned that if you want your silverware clean, better off having them facing up with the handles down. So I'm working on that. I'm working through that one.
Yeah.
working through that one.
It's
and
fun.
my knives don't go on the dishwasher.
Well, you're a more
Go ahead, say it. Say it.
I can't think of the word. Otherwise, I would say it. You're more.
I'm more anal with my knives than most people.
No, that's not what I was going to say. You're more polished than I am. You're more refined. You're a little more uppity than I am.
I don't know that I am, 'cause I'm still
I
putting
was raised in the
silverware handle up.
streets.
Oh,
So
you came from the streets, did you?
yeah, when I grew up, we didn't have a dishwasher. We didn't get that till I was like in middle school. But it is funny though. I remember as a kid, like mom would do do the dishes, or sometimes Melissa would load the dishwasher, and then she would the next day or when it was done, mom would be like, "All right, Patrick, go empty the dishwasher." Hated that job.
Yeah. Horrible.
Oh, what a
Worst thing ever.
horrible job to have
Worst
to
thing
empty the
ever.
dishwasher.
Yeah.
Now I do it. I'm like, it takes me literally 2.5 minutes,
it.
and it's so easy. Like,
And I hated it so
What?
much. Why?
I don't understand it. It makes no sense
None.
at all.
None at all.
Like, you know, I get like, okay, cutting the grass. I didn't really like doing the cutting the grass, but I mean, that took an hour and a half in South Louisiana. It's
rough.
brutal
Yeah.
in the summertime. I still did it, and I still think if I had a kid and they were in South Louisiana,
Yeah,
I'd
cut the
probably
grass.
have them cutting the grass
Sure.
too. I think it's a good skill to
That's why
have.
you have
But
kids. Get you ice cream and cut the grass.
that's right. And get you ice cream.
And the TV remote.
And the TV remote, exactly.
As a much younger kid, it was the volume controller because we had the clicker on the remote, but you had to actually go up and touch the TV to.
I had to go up and grab the pliers and change the channel for my dad.
I did the same thing at my grandma's house.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Those pliers lived on the
Yep.
TV. If you needed a repair done, you didn't grab those pliers. You went to the garage
Okay.
and got the pliers to do a repair. You didn't grab the pliers off the TV because if they went missing, somebody was going to catch hell.
So you didn't have the big knob that it was like
when the
click,
knob
click,
when the knob somehow came off and went away.
Oh,
That's right.
You had to use the pliers. The knob is gone. You're just using the pliers to grab the little.
I'd have been murdered.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my grandma used to make me get up and change the channel, and then
Yeah.
I'd have to stand there, and she'd be like, "Well, hold on, let me see what's going
Exactly.
on." And you're just standing there
Exactly.
waiting
Yeah.
and waiting, and no, I don't want to watch this, and so then you have to keep
Yep,
going.
keep
and,
going.
Oh, and then back then we had UHF, so I was changing two knobs and
Two knobs,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you had to adjust, fine tune the UHF.
Yes.
If we touch the UHF fine tune knob again, somebody's catching hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just the way it was back in the day when we had it. We had it rough, Patrick.
I
You just
forget how
don't
much
know.
older y'all are than I am. I did. I got my experience. I was right there at the cusp, right? So,
yeah.
like in the family room, we did have the color television
Right.
with mono sound,
Oh yeah.
one speaker, and it did have the UHF and VHF, but we never used it because we always had a cable box as a kid. But you did have to. So the cable box was cool. The remote you could make it channel up or down
Okay.
and power on off,
Right.
and the TV plugged into the back of the cable box. So when you turn the cable box on, it would turn the
Oh,
TV
yours was
on,
fancy.
and then when you turn the cable box off, it would turn the TV off. And then Mom had an even not a fancier, a more dumbed down version of this in her room, where it had a remote, but it only had channel up or down. And so if you wanted to turn the cable box off, you had to press both of them at the same time, and it would turn them off. And if you just press like up or down, it would turn it back on.
Wow.
So yeah, crazy stuff.
Wow.
I miss those days, but I don't. I really don't miss those. My grandparents, she had the console television. Remember the console, wood grain?
Yep. In there.
Cost about
Oh, yeah.
$1,200
Yeah.
for a 25-inch color TV. She had stereo on her TV, and it was like, what?
Whoa.
Like 2 speakers, a left and a right? This is insanity.
I am very happy today to have one remote.
Yes.
I press the power button on my little Apple TV remote or on my iPad or my phone.
Yeah.
It turns the TV on, the
Yes.
Apple TV comes on, and my sound bar comes on. And it's easy, simple, no problem. We don't have cable or satellite, so it's just what we're
Netflix.
streaming,
Yeah.
Netflix, whatever. But it's just simple, one button and we're good, or one remote and we're good.
Yeah, I was always the audio nut and video nut and all that stuff. So back in Baton Rouge, I had a projector instead of a normal television. And so you had the projector, you had the receiver for the projector because projectors don't have all the
Right.
tuners and stuff TVs have on them. Then you had the radio receiver for the music, and so I had surround sound, everything set up for that. So you had 4 different remotes because we had
Sure.
Apple TV as well.
Right.
So you had 4 different remotes. And I remember, like, when people would come stay at the house or whatever, they'd be like, okay, I got the TV on. How do I get sound? And it's like,
Yeah.
what remote do you have? do you have the silver one, the white one, the black one,
Right.
or the other black one? And they're like, huh? Oh, and the DVD player, DVD remote
Right,
too, because
of
back
course.
then we had Blu-ray disc and DVD. So it was. I always wanted one of those cool integrated Crestron units or something like that, where everything was all one, and you pressed a button and everything came on. And
Right.
I just never could afford that stuff. And
So I used to rock a Harmony remote.
a Harmony remote,
Harmony.
eHarmony.
I
Nope,
remember
just
when
Harmony.
that first came out.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
So they were bought up by Logitech. I don't think they exist any longer.
Okay.
But it was a web-based remote control. So you would go onto a website and you would tell it what components you had and the model numbers, and you could set up programs for it. So if you pressed one button, it would turn on certain things. Press DVD, it would turn the DVD player on. Set the TV to turn the TV on. Set it to the right channel or the right input, and it would do all that for you.
Really?
Right? So you would do all that, set it all up on your computer, plug it in. It would download stuff to the remote, and you start pushing buttons and testing things. Didn't work, you go back and you reset it. It was a great remote
But it would
system.
automatically change the channels too.
If you had the programming set up a certain way, it would change the channels. But again, you would have the one remote, right? I'm grabbing my phone. You have
I think
the one
we
remote,
had something like that.
and you would use the remote like you would normally. All the programming though went through your computer.
So we didn't have anything that programmed through the computer, but I do remember we had a remote, universal remote. You could buy a high-tech
Radio
electronic store, Walmart.
Okay.
And I remember you would get the book out, and there'd be 28,000 codes.
Right.
And you would literally sit down and go like, all right, television,
Right.
Zenith. There's 42 codes there to try. And you just start until you get one that works. And you get one that works kind of. Like it'll turn the TV on and off.
Right.
It'll do the channel up or down, but it won't control the volume. So you're like, that's not the right one.
the right
You
one.
try again, and then eventually you get the one that does everything, and that's it. And you save it, and then you go like, all right, RCA for the VCR,
Right.
and you get that one programmed in. All right,
Yeah.
cable boxes. Cable boxes were much easier. They only had like 2 or 3 codes. But I remember we'd have to replace that remote every couple of years. I remember we finally bought one that was so cool. We get back and it was like, point the remote at your TV, and when it turns off, press save or something like that. And so what it did is it just went and cycled through all the.
Right.
It would just do the channel power, do the channel power, do the channel power, do the channel power. So eventually, when it turned off, then you knew it had the right code, and you just saved it. Oh, it made life so much easier.
Yeah.
Love that.
To bring this back to trucking, when we set up the new satellite dishes, so satellite boxes in the trucks,
Yes.
you can program the DirecTV remote to your TV, and it does it through the DirecTV box. You tell it what brand TV you have and the model number, and it goes through and finds it and does it. It's like, okay, great. It doesn't do it for certain brands, and it tends to be one of the brands that we have a lot in the truck, so we don't do it anymore, but it can happen. It's pretty simple nowadays.
Very cool. I remember as a kid, you never, like we always had the universal remote. We never touched the Zenith remote or
the TV remote just got put down after a while.
Yeah, put down.
You
it was a good remote.
You had to
we'll
keep
forever miss it.
You had to keep it in the junk drawer just in case.
You did, because eventually,
case.
the universal would die,
Right.
and a TV remote from that brand would never die. You could pick one up right now,
and it would still work.
And it would still work.
I was just gonna say, and those Harmony remotes were not cheap. When
They were
first
not
came
cheap.
out. I mean,
No.
they still go for upwards of $200-300.
They were not cheap.
No. Well, I love my house now. I do the same thing. I haven't figured this out, and if you know, then let's talk after the show. But I use my iPhone. I pull up what do you want to control? Living room.
Right.
And it'll turn my TV on. It turns my receiver on. My Apple TV opens up where I left off. I can change channels. I can change volume. I can change sources. Really impressed by what I can do with my phone.
Right.
That's nothing I did. It's no programming.
No.
Apple just made it happen.
You plug everything in and it works.
Yeah, Apple just did a firmware update, and they're like, hey, guess what? You can now do this.
Right.
So that's awesome. I discovered that by accident. I love it. Such an Apple fanboy after this. I still can't figure out how to turn the TV off. I still have to grab my Samsung white remote and turn my television off. I can do everything else but turn the TV off.
So if you press and hold your power button, will it not turn your TV off?
I don't have a power button.
On the Apple TV remote, you do. On your phone, on the remote app on your phone, I believe it's in the top right corner.
It is.
There is a power button there.
Oh, there is.
So on the phone, I think you just tap it and it turns everything off. On the actual physical Apple TV remote, you press and hold the power button, and you have the older remote.
I do have the ancient one.
Those things are horrible.
Yes.
Yeah. Horrible.
Yeah, I'm not going to replace the remote. I'm just going to wait till that Apple TV dies and replace it.
I remember one time before I had an Apple TV myself, I asked you, I said, how do you deal with this touchpad thing? Because it just is ridiculous and it's no longer there on the new remotes. And you were like, I don't use the remote, I just use my phone.
Yeah.
And, oh, okay. And when we moved, I was like, we're getting Apple TVs. And we did. And it works great.
Is it redundant? Yes. Pretty much everything I do on my Apple TV, I can do through my Samsung television.
Sure.
But it is so much easier with the Apple remote.
So much easier.
And it ties into all my other Apple stuff. Mm-hmm. So, again, if I'm watching YouTube on my cell phone and I walk into my living room, it'll say, would you like to watch this on the big TV? And I say yes, and boom, it's on the big TV. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, the integration's amazing. I know a lot of you out here are Samsung phone people, and I'm a Samsung television person. I think Samsung makes one of the best TVs.
TV. Beautiful TV.
Yeah. I wouldn't be caught dead with an LG one, but I hear that's a joke, actually. That was a tease. But anyways, so I do love Samsung, but when it comes to phones and the integration with the laptops and with the iPads and everything, nobody beats Apple.
When I get up early in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday and Melissa's still asleep, I can throw my AirPods in, and the Apple TV picks them up, and I'm listening to. And sometimes I got to pull one out and go, is this really coming through my AirPods? Because it sounds like the TV. Yeah. I got to pull one out and go, okay, yeah, I'm good.
Do you have the spatial thing on too, which is a trip? You were watching TV, the Apple AirPod Pros and the AirPod Maxes have it. I don't know if the regular AirPods do, but they do. It's a spatial thing. So if you turn your head left, the sound sounds like you have speakers in front of you. You physically have turned your head left. Yeah. And so your right ear gets softer and your left ear gets louder. It's the weirdest technology. I don't know how they're doing it.
They actually have a new updated version that's coming out this month.
Really?
I've been running the beta. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Cool. Nice. Again, big Apple fanboy. But that's not what y'all came here to hear about.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Or is it?
They don't tell us, so I'm not sure if they came here about that or not.
Well, I thought today we would talk a little bit about trucking, since that is the business we're in. That's why we started the podcast, and you sent me those ads and prepared for it. I figured, why not?
Yeah, let's talk about what we looked at.
We shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 more hours. So there was an article published in CDL Life about a situation that happened with Werner, the trucking company Werner. They were sued by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and they lost their case.
They did. They lost big time.
And it was an interesting. There's multiple levels about this that are interesting, and I'm not sure how I feel. And I feel like we're missing some information.
It does seem like it's lacking a little bit in the article.
It does, yes, because the article's heavily on Werner's side, I feel. And it misses a lot of information out of here. And if it's telling us all the information, then a major injustice, I think, was done. But if it's not, then there's got to be something more. But okay, so here's what happened. Chili?
Go ahead. I disagree with a statement you made, but I'll give that opinion once you tell us about the rest of the story.
All right. So Victor Robinson is a driver who tried to go to drive for Werner in 2016. He started with their what is the training company they have? Roadmaster, which is a wholly owned Werner company. So he went to go drive or learn at Roadmaster, got his CDL, and went on to try to get on with Werner, which is something they offer. It's a placement program that Werner offers. If you do the driving school through them, then you can get put in this placement thing. But there's one big caveat.
Right.
And what is that big caveat?
The gentleman is deaf. He can't hear. He doesn't hear.
He cannot hear. Now, typically that is something that will prevent you from getting your CDL.
Right.
However, he was able to go through and he obtained an exemption by the FMCSA.
Yes.
So to me, that says he can communicate well enough that they are allowing him to continue driving, even though he's deaf. Now, I don't know if that means he's completely deaf or if he has what's the implant called?
Cochlear implant.
Cochlear implants, or if he can hear some, but he's very hard of hearing. I'm not sure to what degree the article doesn't say. I feel like that is very helpful information, and it doesn't mention it.
Yeah, that's one of the frustrating things is that it doesn't mention his level of hearing impairment.
Correct, because things like deaf, things like deaf and blind, or missing limbs, people tend to go like, well, if you're missing such and such, and you just don't have it or whatever, and it's like that's not really the rules. Right. You can be legally blind and qualify for all the perks and not perks, but all the things that help with you being legally blind, and still be able to see some.
Sure, yeah.
I've got a cousin who has a degenerative disease, and his vision is slowly disappearing, but he can still see stuff out of his. It's either out of his peripheral or he can't see peripheral. Anyways, but he can still see stuff. Yeah. My grandfather, who passed away at 96 years old, he was legally blind for the last several years of his life. But when I walked into his house unannounced, he would still go like not really be able to put it together necessarily who I was, but he could see that I was someone was there.
Yeah.
And as soon as he would get an indication that it was me, everything would click, and he could make out just based on his memory and everything. Right. But still could walk outside, knew where the sidewalk, could see the sidewalk. May not be the clearest picture, but he still was able to get around. Couldn't drive, obviously, but
so there's levels of
there's
impairment.
Levels. We've got a person who is actually going to be applying fairly soon to come drive with us, and she is deaf, and she's driven for FedEx before. She's going to come back to FedEx again and drive, and but again, there's levels. She's not completely deaf. You can still communicate with her.
I think I'm a good example of that with vision. Without my glasses, I can't function. The other day, Melissa was here, and I was meeting you guys here to do something, and so I was at home getting showered after work, and I dropped my glasses on the floor. I literally got on my hands and knees to feel for my glasses because I couldn't see them. It took me 5 minutes before I figured out where they bounced to.
Wow.
So when I was doing my DOT last week, she asked me, can you read this without your glasses? Like, nope. What's the highest letter you can read there? And I go, L, only because I saw it before and I know what it is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't, right? So I need my glasses in order to function. So without them, I carry a spare just in case. But so there's levels of impairment.
Correct.
That's my point.
Absolutely. And so we don't know what that degree or that level is.
Right.
It is, there's a few things in here. So one, they did get the exemption. Mr. Robinson did get the exemption. So Werner, even though he went through their school and he applied for their placement, they declined it and said that they would not be able to, Werner would not be able to employ him because they didn't have a way to teach him. So Werner has two classifications of drivers. They actually have more beyond this, but two main ones we're talking about right now. We're talking about a generic truck driver. That is, I've got at least 6 months of driving a truck experience. I go to Werner, they put me in a truck, and I go rolling.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is a placement driver. This is a brand new driver. They don't have the full 6 months experience. They may have no experience, come out of one of their Roadmaster schools, and they're placed with a driver, and the driver teaches them how to run the road, right? Because not so much with straight trucks, but with 18-wheelers, there's a considerable learning curve you have to learn.
There really is, yeah. You get your CDL, you learn how to drive a truck, but you don't know how to operate the truck yet.
Correct. Exactly. Real-world situations, all that stuff still have to be played into. How to work hours of service, how to work on recaps. Recaps are like when you we don't do this a lot in expediting, just nature of our business and the fact that we run teams, but in commercial, in solo driving tractors, a lot of people will, where you get ready to run a load, but you're at the end of your week and you're running out of hours. You actually can look at how many hours you get the next day and how many hours you get the next day and kind of plan your load out so you can capitalize on those hours if you need to, and be able to determine if you can take a load or not. So there are some skills that go along with that. It's rare in our sector of the business, but it does happen, but it's rare. So they put you with a trainer, you learn all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, Werner said after they looked into it, they could not safely give him the consideration he needs with a sermon. That's funny. With a trainer, that they would feel comfortable operating a vehicle going down the road. So Warner, I like the comment here. Warner said that their decision was based on the inability to identify an accommodation that would enable Mr. Robertson to safely engage in two-way communication with his trainer while engaged in over-the-road training. Warner had a legitimate safety concern about the potential catastrophic results of distracted driving by new and inexperienced commercial driver. So my understanding with this is basically they're saying any form of communication that they've looked into that would allow him and his trainer to communicate would constitute some form of distracted driving.
Right.
And that was their determination. They said, if we can't safely do this, we're not going to do it. And that's where they pump the brakes. So that's where all the issue is. Now, it also states that where the EEOC is claiming that they wouldn't hire him because he's deaf, and they're just being prejudiced or whatever, discriminatory towards people that are the hearing impaired. Yes, They actually do go in and talk about how Warner has actually hired individuals who are deaf. They have hired individuals with disability. They do have a very large group of people who are in some way disabled, and they do accommodate them. It's just the fact that they can't safely
communicate with him as a trainee because he's brand new.
Yeah. Exactly.
How could they safely communicate with the other people but not him?
They didn't have to. That person was the people they have brought on that are deaf already had their 6 months, so they don't have to teach them. They already know how to do it. And going into a generic truck driver, then they already meet the criteria. This problem is, how do we safely teach this person how to do this? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. However, if they've hired people that had 6 months experience that had hearing impairments, how are those people trained?
I don't think Warner cares, and it's not their concern because
I get that.
It's not on their safety record. It's not on their insurance if that person, causes an accident or has.
I get that, but there has to. I understand it's not Warner's concern.
Yes.
Right. There was a way somehow, some way, and it could be that whatever method was used by a previous carrier, Warner still felt wasn't safe. So you get the benefit of the doubt there. But I guess it's now more of a curiosity for me of how did they do it?
Well, I think the part where I say the article is definitely swayed towards Warner is it does talk about how they've looked into it, they tried to figure out a way to make this work, and they couldn't. And since they couldn't make it work, that's when they decided not to hire that employee. Or that driver, but we don't really know what did they do.
We don't. You're right.
Did they literally go like, "Oh, you're a deaf person. It's not going to work. Bye," or did they actually go out and say, "How can we pull this off? How have we done it before in the past? How is this a thing that's doable?" And go from there. And at the end of the day, the court system did not agree, and they said they sided with the plaintiff, and they gave him $75,000 in compensatory damages, which is probably not enough to make the news.
No,
it's the fact that they awarded $36 million in punitive damages. Yeah. Now this is crazy to me.
That $75,000 is definitely not enough to make the news because further on the article it talks about other actions against other companies that they reported on just last week as well.
So
that were nowhere near.
And here's what's nuts to me. Between Wednesday and Friday alone, the EEOC announced 5 separate settlements between $32,000 and $182,000 against various companies. So we're talking $36 million versus $182,000.
Right.
$182,000 was against a food company who was engaged in sexual harassment against his female employee's will.
Right.
So we're saying declining to hire you is not a more serious, a way more serious offense than this.
I think
than a sexual harassment towards a woman.
Now, I'm not here to say that it is a more serious offense. We have different juries, different. It may not. These other ones may not have even gone to jury trials.
That's true. They may have
that did it.
Yes,
a jury awarded $36 million. Now, Werner's going to fight that and get it reduced by quite a bit, I'm sure, if not completely gone. But, again, not saying that the disability EEOC claim on this disability was worse than the others, but I think we have to look at the fact that a jury made this decision, and we've seen juries in other cases, various cases, and different than this completely, that have ruled these large awards against trucking companies as well. Even
in the state where it was done, Werner pointed out that there's a cap on punitive and compensatory. That's a rough word to say. Limit of $300,000. So by their law, it's $300,000, and the jury decided to break that law and go beyond it. So they have grounds there to argue it. They did actually win a case earlier this year about this, for almost the exact same reason. Another driver that couldn't hear or was deaf, and they had the same situation, same concerns, and the federal court said at that time that we side with you. So now you've got some precedent, and you've got a judgment that's beyond the scope of the law. So I do think they're definitely going to fight it. I mean, they said we're going to evaluate our options of appealing, but I think that just means we're going to figure out in which way is the best way to appeal. I don't think it's meant to be we're going to decide if we're going to appeal or not.
What's our best approach on this?
Absolutely.
Is what they're doing now. Yeah.
And there's I do understand discriminatory hiring practices, discriminatory things of that nature, where there are predators out there, and you have to watch for that.
Sure.
I also know companies, a lot of them, like in this example with Werner, I don't think they're engaging that. And if they find out someone is engaging in that, they let that person go.
Certainly.
So I don't know. I have a hard time with, especially the size of the judgment. I know it's the $36 million isn't for the person who was not brought on. It was to make a point that make sure Werner doesn't ever do it again.
Sure.
Right? Like that's the whole point is you got to make sure you did something bad and we're going to slap your wrist hard enough that it hurts. But I don't know. When you look at precedent and everything else, I just don't.
It just doesn't fit.
It just doesn't fit.
That size award just doesn't fit.
And what I don't know is, are we looking at a situation where we don't have all the facts? That's how I kind of started talking about this. Is there more behind the scenes we don't see? Are there emails? Are there text messages? Are there other things going on that is out there that we're just not preview to?
Is there other damning evidence against Werner that we're not privy to?
Correct.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
So it's kind of a wild thing to see. These judgments that are happening lately are just wild.
They're called nuclear judgments for a reason. They're insane.
Yeah.
They're completely and totally insane. And again, various different types of cases, whether it's accidents or whatever, they're just completely and totally out there. They're extreme.
And there's a lot of states that are, and even the federal government are stepping in trying to say, hey, you can't do some of these things.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is there's a lot of companies that are raising insurance requirements, and even the federal government's looking at re-raising insurance requirements to help protect from all that stuff. So, I don't know.
And trucking is not the only industry you see these things in. You see it all across the board, medical malpractice, all kinds of stuff where you see these just insane judgments.
I agree.
And it's a little bit out of hand, I think.
I do too. So I don't know if you agree or disagree with this sentence. If you do believe this is a just and fair assessment, if you think that Werner's going to fight it and they're going to win or lose, or maybe at this point, you don't really come to an agreement with the person that's accused you, right?
It's certainly a possibility. If they appeal it, they file an appeal, they certainly can come to a settlement with the person.
Okay.
Let's settle for $75,000, and however much money goes to funding equipment of some sort to help in this, or goes to a hearing disabled charity of some sort to help again. So they certainly can. They certainly can, once they file the appeal, settle this at a later date for a lesser amount.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question. I'm not an attorney, but I do know one. So that gives me my expertise on the law.
Well, and I think that's sound expertise. I mean, I don't see any way that could possibly be incorrect.
I don't either.
But speaking,
I thought I was wrong one time, but I wasn't. I was not wrong.
Well, you just a lot of times I find that I'm not wrong. I find that people misunderstand me.
Agreed.
I misunderstood.
Agreed. Yeah.
Jerry's wrong, but
I'm never wrong. Never.
Really?
There was that one time. We won't talk about it.
The pre-wash, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
What were you pre-rush?
Yeah. Silverware up or down. I mean, we're still debating that one.
Well, not really. Speaking of the law, though, by the letter of the law, and I do mean contracts, we are obligated, required, mandated to discuss a model airplane every week we call the Airplane of the Week.
Yes, we do.
So
you do.
Today, the airplane I want to do... We can't. We've already done it. But we're going to talk about it anyways.
Okay, great.
A flight, a Delta Airlines A350 bound for Buenos Aires. No, bound for
Spain. Yeah.
Barcelona. Turned back after 2 hours to fly back to Atlanta International Hartsfield-Jackson Airport.
Why they turn back, Patrick?
Well, it's the funniest thing. Apparently, one of the passengers had diarrhea all over himself.
Diarrhea?
2 hours in.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
I know.
But why would they turn the plane back? Because he had diarrhea all over himself.
Apparently, it was a biohazard situation. So they turned the plane back around, evacuated the airplane, and I'm assuming they got some Clorox bleach.
I imagine they probably did.
and cleaned it down real nice.
Yeah.
This is just, I just don't. What do you do with this?
I don't know what you do with it.
I mean,
you get the Clorox out and wipe it up. I mean, that's all you can do with it.
Listen, like, okay, if they would have said plane's taken off and the person diarrheaed all over themselves, I'm like, all right, so you're getting ready to take off. You maybe have a stomach bug.
Right.
You just you can't get up.
Yeah.
You're just screwed. And then 2 hours in, they've already served dinner.
Yeah.
Because on those long haul flights, you're getting dinner.
Yep.
They've already served dinner. Everybody's kind of lounged. They've already picked up all the plates. You're talking to your neighbor about how good the ice cream was or wasn't. You're mid movie. You can't at that point.
You don't.
When you feel are you not like, oh, time to go?
Yeah, time to get up. Yep.
You think about an airplane. It's a big airplane, but the biggest airplane's still pretty small.
Yeah.
It could have been more than 20 feet to the nearest bathroom.
The story that I saw said that it was down the aisle. Wasn't just on himself
mercy.
In his seat.
So he started his seat.
And he leaked all the way. Yeah. Yeah. That apparently was the big issue, that it was all over the airplane.
I did not know that it was all over the airplane. Yeah. I knew it was all over the seat. And I thought, well, maybe it's just a smell issue, but I'd have been pissed. I'd have been like, look, this is disgusting. Can we not get some club soda?
Yeah.
And a squeegee?
Exactly.
And still make it to Barcelona?
Right. We're only 6 hours out.
And then at that point, you're only 4 hours out.
It's true.
I mean, at that point, it's like, listen.
Yeah.
I got to turn around. It's 2 hours back anyways. So
it's true.
Why not go ahead and
knock it out? Just suck it up and knock it out. It's a humorous story, making fun of light of the story, but I've just been reminded that people have issues, they have disabilities, medical conditions, and can't necessarily control it. So we've made a lot of fun of it, but if you have an issue like this, I'm sorry that you do.
So,
and it is a serious condition potentially, and we're just having fun with it.
So speaking as someone who's had food poisoning on a plane before, had it from the night before.
Yeah.
Got to the airport, got through security. Wasn't feeling good, so I grabbed what everybody would do. I grabbed a red Gatorade.
Yep.
Out of the convenience store. It only cost $14, and went and sat down and drank my red Gatorade. And I was like, nope, that's not good. So I ran to the restroom. Now that was in the airport. That was a haul. That was like
I bet.
Easily 1,000 feet. And get to the restroom. It was not good. But I'm like, all right, I guess I'm through this. And let me go. Oh, this happened while they were boarding the airplane.
Oh, perfect.
So I was
timing.
like, all right, I think I feel good. Let me just run. I got on the airplane, made it just in time, was like the last person on the plane. Found my seat, getting ready to take off, taxi on the runway, and I'm like, oh no, I don't feel good. And so I literally, taking off, just sitting there waiting to hit 10,000 feet so that I could run to the restroom. Ding! I was gone. I was like, well, got to the restroom, got in there, did my business, and got out of the restroom, and there was a line 7 people deep down waiting to get in there. And I'm like, I am so sorry.
Yeah. You might want to hold off for a few minutes.
Yeah, or a while. Get back to my seat, lean against the window, and just I'm miserable. We flew all the way to San Diego, and that's a long flight from Louisiana.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh boy. So I did that back and forth multiple times throughout the flight. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't diarrhea myself. I didn't drag it down the aisle with me. I mean, it was tough. There were parts I didn't know if I'd do it, but I did it. And so, yes, maybe there's something more serious going on. So I'll give benefit of the doubt, but But, I feel bad too. Imagine the embarrassment.
Horribly embarrassing. Everyone on the plane is upset with you now because you made the plane turn around.
Yes.
Horribly embarrassing.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
When something like that happens,
uh-huh,
is this person charged anything because you are disrupting? I mean, the cost.
Service. Yeah.
The cost of going back and then having to turn around and rebook people on flights to get them where they were supposed to go. And
yeah, so I know, like with medical emergencies, typically they don't, which is why a lot of times with the medical emergencies they don't land the plane. They do try to stabilize the person and get to a better place before they land it.
Sure.
It could be for things. It's crazy because you think about, like, well, if you're having a medical emergency, get the plane on the ground as soon as possible. But they do actually look at, like, what airport can handle a plane this big,
right.
Or literally sometimes of even like, well, we're flying over this place where we could land because there's not medical access near there, or could be as simple as the fuel's expensive there, and we're gonna have to buy more fuel. We're not gonna buy it there. Obviously, depending on the level of the emergency, right? That's gonna determine. That obviously in a case like this, they were like, we're going to go all the way back to Hartselle-Jackson.
Right.
We're not going to land in D.C. or somewhere that'd be closer. But I don't know in this particular situation what they'll say. Is it a medical emergency or not? Kind of is, but is it?
I would imagine if it was someone just acting
foolish,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Then I could certainly see and get behind charging that person for whatever. They're not going to get much money out of them probably, but in this situation where medical emergency, not their fault.
Yeah.
Again, who knows how they felt when they got on the plane, but I would imagine, I would hope that they weren't charged for anything additional, honestly.
Yeah. And it sucks too, because you look at it like an airline like Delta. Every time those medical emergencies happen, that's can be on a big flight like that. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars in jet fuel they've lost, and it's because you burn the majority of your fuel on those long haul trips in the first hour or two because the plane is extremely heavy. As you fly, you're burning jet fuel, so the plane is actually getting lighter,
right.
So you're burning less fuel. So the last half of your trip, you maybe use a quarter of the fuel the first half your trip did. So the most expensive part of the trip is where the emergency happened, unfortunately. So they're going to have to go send the airplane right back. Again, they got to clean it. They're going to have to take care of all those passengers. Right. They're going to have to get another airplane out of storage. It's an A350. They don't have a lot of those. And then they're going to have to fly them all back, put people in hotels. It's a lot. Again, if it's a true medical emergency, I don't think they're going to charge them back for it. I don't think it's going to be anything. But if it's not, I think they would. Yeah, it was a crappy situation, but they worked through it. I am curious how long it took all those people to get back to Barcelona after that point happened.
I saw an article that said that they were delayed 8 hours. They actually arrived in Barcelona 8 hours after the original flight was scheduled.
Okay.
So
that's about right. You figure it's a 4 hour, 2 hours back.
Right.
So it's 2, 4. You're on the ground for a couple hours, then
scrub
take
it up,
off.
Scrub it up, dub.
Yeah. Or if they clean the plane, or if they actually.
The article I saw said they cleaned the plane and put it back on it, sent them on their way.
All right. Did that passenger get back on it?
I don't know.
I would love to know that.
I don't know. I think I'd be too embarrassed.
I'd go to the hospital. I'd be like,
I would too.
I'd be like, bring me to the hospital. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Get to the hospital and be like, I'm so sorry. I'll see y'all later.
Thanks for the ride. Bye. Need an Uber. Yeah.
Oh, what a disaster. Well, that brings us to the airplane of the day. Also a Delta. This is a Delta 757-300. Now, not to be confused, we have had the Delta 757-200 before.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Big
just
difference.
a longer of those airplanes.
Right.
757, it's one of my favorite planes. We've talked about it before. They're extremely versatile. They're extremely durable. They're just really great airplanes. It's about the size of a 737, or the smaller one is. They just put massive engines on it.
Okay.
And it's able to carry a lot more fuel. It's a lot more versatile of an airplane. It can fly a lot further than a 737. It's a little more comfortable of an airplane. The cool thing about them is the engines are so overbuilt and so oversized for that size airplane. As you're taking off, when you take off and you come off the ground, you're at a pretty steep angle.
Yeah.
You go that way for a couple thousand feet or 30, 45 seconds.
Right.
And then you hear the plane's engines kind of pull back,
Right.
and then you level off a little bit. And then you still climb, but not nearly as steep.
But you don't feel it so much, yeah?
Yes. So they do that because the engines are not rated to run that powerfully for very long.
Okay.
So it's very safe to run them that hard for 30, 45 seconds
Right.
or even a minute, but not more than that. So they actually have like max setting, and then they have takeoff setting, which is even more than max. So they'll do takeoff, and then they'll pull it back to max and climb out, and then they'll lower it even more. This airplane is so strong of an engine, they can run it at takeoff all the way up to your 35,000 feet cruising altitude. They don't throttle back. They just climb up.
They just get there.
They just get there. They're like a little rocket ship. So they're very, very cool in that aspect. They're extremely durable, like I said. The ones Delta has are over 28 years old, I think, is their average age, 28, 29 years old. So they're old airplanes. They still run great. They still have great safety ratings. And I really like them. They're fun. They're cool old antique airplanes that are just badass. This one is the stretched version. So this is actually, like I said, 737. So this is a 3 and 3 with one aisle down the middle.
737 or 757?
This is 757-300, but it's like a 737.
Gotcha.
It's 3 and 3.
Right.
Or in the very front, it's 2 and 2 for first class. And this plane got the name the Flying Pencil because for it being a twin aisle airplane, it is so long. If you look at it from the side, it looks like a pencil. And it's a trip too. Like I've sat in the front of these and then turn back around and look, and you can't see the back of the airplane because it's so long and there's so many people. It's a pretty remarkable piece of equipment. Delta and United, I think, still fly these. American retired them, but it's actually a plane that was a little too good, too amazing for its time, and they didn't see a real need for them, so they quit making them 10, 15 years ago.
Okay. And
even then, they were only making them as cargo planes. You got to go back even another 10 years when they were making them as passenger airplanes. Wow. And now everybody's begging Boeing to make an airplane like this because now, the whole hub and spoke, like leave here, fly to Atlanta or fly to Memphis or whatever. All these companies are starting to say like, let's not do that. Let's do these direct routes. Let's do the Allegiant or Southwest or Frontier and Spirit and all those guys. They're all JetBlue's doing all this. Forget hubs. Let's just fly people where they want to go. And to do that, you got to have small airplanes that are agile. And so this is now back in favor. It's just funny that it's back in favor 30 years after they came out with it, 15 years after they quit making it. So hopefully they'll be making something soon about this. The 737-10 that is not out yet is supposed to be the replacement for this, but who knows if that'll actually happen. They can't get the FAA to approve it yet. But the reason I picked this airplane out is because you and I were just on one.
We were.
We flew from Atlanta to Orlando, and they use a 757 on that route pretty much exclusively. The really cool thing about these airplanes is, as you have noticed, you actually made a mistake because of it.
I did.
You walk in halfway down the fuselage.
Yeah.
So when you walk on the airplane and you go right, it's all economy. And when you go left, it's comfort plus and then first class. So Eric and I got on, and we're sitting up in the front, and then I'm watching for Vince to come on or whatever, and I see him come on, and he goes immediately
turn right,
just like you do on every other airplane.
Yep.
And he's like,
Something's wrong.
literally confused, like, what's happening?
Right.
This is not making sense.
How do the numbers start so high?
Doesn't compute.
Yeah.
Row 20. What happened to the first half of the plane?
I immediately pooped my pants.
So the kind lady there was able to turn him around.
Yes.
And he got to the right section or whatever. But it was quite funny. It does make for boarding a lot faster because you're not waiting for everybody in one
Right.
line. You're actually half the people are going
Yeah.
one way, half the people going the other way. So it boards a little bit faster. But it's just a really cool airplane. I know Delta and United both would love for Boeing to make more of them. They're begging for it. If you ever see anybody on the news talking about a Boeing NMN next model or 7X7,
Okay.
they're talking about this plane. They want the next version of this. So, not the most fuel efficient, but still a very cool airplane.
Yeah.
Iceland Air runs a bunch of them as well. So if you ever fly to Iceland on Iceland Air, you're probably going to end up on one of those.
I'm doing that next week.
Are you?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm not. Is that the right time? It might be the right time of year to go.
Summertime? Northern Hemisphere?
I would think
Probably.
so. Not winter.
Not winter, no.
I would not want to go in
any
winter.
Hemisphere.
No.
I think it'd be the right time. Yeah.
You get there, you're like, I thought it was supposed to be green. Isn't Iceland green and Greenland's ice? And
Something like that. I think that's
why
how
has
it
everything
works.
got snow?
Yeah.
A lot of geothermal pools, I hear.
Lots
So, that is the airplane of the week. But you know where else we're going? We were talking about going to Orlando. We will be going to Orlando December, 29th,
27th,
30th, 28th,
something like that.
14th, something.
Yeah. What are we
are
doing in Orlando?
we are going sailing.
Sailing.
It takes you away.
It does take me away. From
We
where
are
I'm
going. Yeah, that's right. We're going to do Hyfield at Sea. We're going to be going on Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Sea. It's the world's largest cruise ship.
It is.
December
Big boat.
December 30th through January 7th, and out of Port Canaveral. To go to Port Canaveral, it's about an hour outside of Orlando, so everybody flies on Orlando International. It's going to be a great trip. I look forward to seeing a bunch of y'all there. We've got all of our staff are going, or almost all of our staff are going. Yeah. We've got tons of teams that have already signed up and are going. We're out of our block of rooms already, but there's still more rooms on the ship. You just have to book them directly through RoyalCaribbean.com or with your travel agent that you use. It's going to be a wonderful time. Again, the world's largest cruise ship. It is massive. Eric and I were on that boat, or on that ship on that city for for New Year's last year.
Yeah.
It was a great ship. It's a lot of fun. They have everything. Name something.
Barbershop.
They have. Yes, they do have it.
They do have it.
They had it in the spot. Jerry?
Roller skating.
The ice skating. Close enough.
Oh, my goodness.
Bowling.
My goodness.
They don't have bowling.
Bocce ball?
They have skee ball.
There you go.
Skee ball. That's practically bowling.
Practically.
Something else.
A roller coaster.
They do not have a roller coaster, but they have a zip line.
Oh, okay.
Because like your ship needs a zip line.
Of course it does. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
It also
it's
has
big enough. Why not?
It also has putt putt. Do they say putt putt anymore? Or is it mini golf?
I think it depends on where you're from.
Okay,
Yeah.
so mini golf. They have a surfing, body surfing,
That's right.
surfing, a free
Wave
thing
What's it
that
called?
makes
it's got a name.
surf freestyle. Freestyle. I don't know. Anyways, it's got that. So you can get your surfing on, or your knee board on, or
Right.
however you do it.
Yeah.
And then they've got
Central Park.
so much stuff. They've got a Central Park.
Yeah.
If you're like, I am so tired of all the beach and the pools
Right.
and people having fun. I just want to go have a nice glass of wine,
Right.
perhaps a gin and tonic.
Yep.
I don't know why, but perhaps.
Tea and crumpets.
Aperol spritz.
There you go. Yeah, please
No,
don't.
anyways, and just walk through a park. I want to have like maybe some birds around.
Right.
I want to see some pretty flowers,
Yeah.
sit on a bench, listen to a violin
They've got it.
quartet. They got it. It's crazy. They have all this stuff at Central Park. It's
On a ship
insane. It's
at
beautiful.
sea.
Look it up. Wonder of the Seas. Or don't look it up and be surprised. Either one's good. They have a British pub. They have a sports bar. They have a hot dog stand. Yes, they do.
They had a hamburger stand.
They had
too.
a hamburger stand
Yeah, Johnny Rockets.
on Johnny Rockets. That's right. Yes, they do. They have Johnny Rockets.
Yeah.
They've got which it's like $5. You'd have to pay for Johnny Rockets,
Right, it's
whereas
not
the other ones
included.
are
Sure.
free. They've got a really cool deli in Central Park. So if you're like, I want to go to Central Park, but I don't want to spend $35 at this restaurant,
Right.
go to the cafe. Everything in there's free.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Get your coffees or your mimosa or whatever. Get out of the drinks package for that. But it's a really great ship. It's so massive, you really don't feel the sea move, which is nice. I know a lot of people have motion sickness, and that's an issue with them. This is one of those boats that's so big. It's minimal. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist,
Sure.
but it's minimal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
You want to? Hey, you want to be crazy? You want a bar that's in an elevator that starts on the first floor and goes up to the 5th floor and deposits you in the middle of the park?
A bar on an elevator.
Uh-huh.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is. They have it.
Wow.
They have it.
What about a bar where robots make my cocktail?
They have it.
You're pulling my leg.
I'm not pulling your leg. I'm pushing your leg. No. It's
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I actually saw it.
They're thinking like these are drunks. All they do is talk about drinks.
On the video that we prepared as a teaser,
yeah.
I saw that bar, and that intrigues me.
Yeah, it's a cool experience. They also have the pizza place. Oh man, it's such good. I love
where the robots make your pizza.
No,
because they do that at Costco.
No, the robots don't make your pizza. But the pizza is really good on the roll ships. They've got the comedy club.
Okay.
They've got the karaoke bar. If you want to get your karaoke on, they got a piano bar. They got a sing-along section. They got a if you like trivia, they do trivia all day long. If you like playing bingo, they got the bingo cards where you win actual money.
Wow.
If you like gambling, they have Casino Royale, just like James Bond, Casino Royale. And it is something.
Can I get a Vesper?
No.
Oh.
They one thing. You like big Broadway, huge productions? They got a massive, like 2,000-3,000 person theater. And their stuff is really great. Again, the ice skating rink. You want laser tag?
Yeah,
they got it.
Wow.
They got it. You want?
I'm excited.
I mean, you could also do the normal cruise ship thing and go to the buffet and go to the pool.
Go out by the pool.
Yeah, if you want to, whatever, hot tub. I don't know.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah, I don't. If they have shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard's gone off of ships now.
It really has.
Yeah. Unless you're on like a
Holland America.
Yeah, exactly. Or celebrity, the older crowd.
The older ones, maybe, not the newer ones.
I know the Mardi Gras Carnival.
It does not
had shuffleboard.
It did?
The original.
I did? The
OG.
Carnival Mardi Gras.
Carnival Mardi Gras.
Well, the Mardi Gras didn't, and I thought it was funny that they replaced them with cornhole.
No. Let's correct that. It was beanbag toss.
It was beanbag toss.
Yeah.
I thought that was strange too. I'm like,
so.
okay,
Yeah.
well,
we all know it is cornhole. What are we trying to hide here?
All right, Southern Florida. But I'm looking forward to it. Hey, and if you are going, or if you're planning on going, we have these shirts being made. I don't know how to do this, Jerry. I don't know if you can see it. They say Hyfield at Sea 2023. They got a picture of a ship, the Wonder of the Seas, with some birds going around them. And then on the back, we've got the hashtag Hyfield family. Mel is making these. You can reach out to her through Facebook, or you can call your mentor and they can put you in touch with them, or you can call Kelly or Melissa or Delina or Kayla or Jerry or whoever. You can go onto Hyfield.com, chat with someone and say, hey, I want one of those t-shirts.
Yeah.
And they will put you in touch with her. And the deadline is coming up very soon. I forgot. It's only a couple weeks out that she has to have all the shirts ordered. So the deadline is coming up soon. So if you do want a shirt, you're going to go on the cruise, reach out to her. If you don't want a shirt but you want to go on the cruise, RoyalCaribbean.com and or your travel agent. It's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. We're going to be able to hang out, sit there, truly be Hyfield family together with each other. If you're if you're like, oh, I want to do that, but I kind of want to run. It is the slowest, deadest time of the year.
Yeah, it really is.
Listen. I would love for trucks to run. I mean, like that'd be great, but they're not gonna. If you stay at home, they're not gonna run. So it's a great time for us to go out and really be able to celebrate each other's company and fellowship together. I encourage you to come on out, see it. If you can't because of family or what have you, we totally understand that as well. We'll miss you. We'll see you next year when we do it again. So this year, Roll Caribbean's one of the seas. Come out and join us. It'd be a lot of fun. Things are getting back into full swing again. Fall's coming up. We're looking at dates for some live shows. Haven't pinned it down quite yet, but we are still working on that. And freight's busier again.
Yeah.
Everything's back up and running. So everybody stay safe out there. Make good decisions. Thank you for joining us. Jerry, what are we forgetting?
If you are interested in doing what we do or learning more about the expediting lifestyle, check us out at www.hyfieldtrucking.com. You can chat with any of our representatives over there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also give us a call at 1-833-HYFIELD. That's 833-493-4353. You can option 1 for recruiting, by the way. You can also check us out on your favorite podcast streaming app. We are available on all of those. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media outlets. We are out there. Also, don't forget to hit all the buttons in front of you. Subscribe, like, thumbs up, thumbs down if you want. Doesn't matter. Hit something. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or anything about the show that you heard tonight, you can send us over an email at theouterbeltpodcast@gmail.com.
Or leave a comment on this video and we'll read it.
Yeah. Or,
Carrier pigeon works too.
Carrier pigeon does work as well. Message in a bottle.
Message in a bottle.
We'll get it,
but we
when we're
won't
on
get
the
it
ship.
on the
Yeah.
on the seas.
We'll get it when we land at, back in Cape Canaveral or Port Canaveral.
That's hysterical.
As Buttermilk would say, don't leave money on the table.
And keep those wheels a turning.
We appreciate y'all.
Good night.